Alright, I'm going to make what I'm going to call tattoo stories because I don't think it exists anywhere. I mean, you can put in tattoo stories into YouTube, and the only thing I was able to find were artists bitching about the clients. Maybe there's more. I didn't really search through everything, but I'm going to try to start tattoo stories simply because, we wouldn't do this shit if it didn't mean something to us. Every one of them has some significance in one way or another, and there's some probably great stories behind a lot of ink that people have, and artists. And I'm going to try to name the artists that I remember and try to get people to maybe go check out their art. Maybe you live near some of these people and they can do you up because they're really good artists. So I'm going to try to start this hopefully when I'm done, maybe 7 episodes. I'm going to try to do my hands, each arm, my shoulders/neck, my front, my back, my legs, and then I think that'll be it. I'm thinking 7 maybe, if I can do it fast enough. There's stories behind some of this shit, and some of the stories take a little longer to talk about than others, so I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm going to start this one. This is the first one, and I'm going to do my hands, and hopefully make it around 20 to 30 minutes long. If you're like me, you love ink, and I've always loved ink. I knew I was going to be covered in ink before I even really knew what tattoos were. I was already in love with skulls, and my whole right arm is covered with skulls for a reason, and I just knew, and I have a feeling anybody who's into tattoos knows that. It's an addiction because you want to hurry up and finish. For me, at least, I just wanted to cover everything as fast as I could. I started when I was 18. I would have started when I was 15 or 16 if I could have. But I started when I was 18, and I've done so much shit, it's ridiculous. So I'm going to start the stories so that way people can freeze frame it, whatever, so you can actually look at the artwork, and I'll tell you who the artists are so you can go look at their art. And for people who don't know shit about tattoos and might maybe get some, whatever, you can use this as a learning experience. What they look like after a certain amount of time, good ideas, bad ideas, mistakes. Some of us, at least I do, have what I call gems. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit that's okay, but there's 1 to fucking 5 that are just like off the chart great. And there's good artists, good art. It's perfect fucking tattoo, and you love it to this day. And I have several of them, and I'll get to them when I get there. But I'll start this one off with my hands. So, with all that said, let's start tattoo stories number 1. The very first one. When I'm done with 7 or 8, whatever it is, then I hope people continue that, because I'd like to see other people's ink. I want to see other artists, and I want to see what you got on your shit, because you don't see a tattoo. You see somebody in the supermarket or Home Depot or whatever, and it's like, oh shit, look, they're inked up, but you don't know what that is. You're not going to go up to them and be like, hey dude, you just like, let me check out, or a girl. There's all kinds of people now covered with ink, and some of it's super great, some of it very not so great, but I'd like to see it, so let's get this going. I want to see your ink. I'm going to start this shit off with my ink. And so I will start with my hands. And probably my ugliest tattoo. I mean, not ugly, but yeah, ugly. On purpose. I'll show the hands first. This is what it looks like after the amount of time it's been. Hopefully that's good enough in the shot so you can see what I got. You see me in the supermarket walking by, that's what you see. The right hand and the left hand. These are my hands now. And the stories behind them. First of all, the ugly tattoo that I have on this hand, on my fingers, it's ugly as shit on purpose. The story behind this is I went to a metal concert because I'm a metal head. There's going to be a lot of music related tattoos in all of my art, so get used to it. If you're a metalhead, then that's good. If you're not, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this one started off just because I went to go see a band called Thy Art Is Murder. They were playing the Whiskey in Hollywood, California, and I went to the meet and greet, and I had each band member use a Sharpie to put each letter on my fingers, and went right across the street and got it tattooed before the concert started. And I don't remember which member did the eye, but I told him not to put it over the skull, so he put it on the knuckle, kind of where the smoke was, and now you really can't see the eye anymore. But I'll show you what it looked like right after I got back from the concert. After I got back from the show, I went ahead and tattooed, or took a picture of the tattoo I just got, and you can see the T, and the A is rather sharp, but the I was just above the knuckle, and now you can barely see it. But whatever, they're ugly as shit, they look ghetto as fuck, and that's on purpose, because those are just regular guys from Australia. Thy art is murder, and they did up my fingers, and that was the night. That's the story behind that ugly ass tattoo. Tame. Thy art is murder. They're the shit. I fucking love that band. And that's the story behind those ugly ass tattoos. And now I will go to the stories about the finger tattoos. Right after I got that done, it's done at Peter Gunn's Tattoo in Arcadia, California. Peter Guns did not do the finger tattoos. He had an apprentice there at the time, and I had him do the skull, and he tried to do some fire above it that didn't really work out that great. Like I said, he was an apprentice, but he did the other one fucking awesome. Like, I absolutely love this tattoo. It says everything about my generation. That's my shit. I got the green one up, and I would have gone farther, but I just stopped at the green one. And I absolutely love that tattoo. There's no huge story behind it. I think my wife was getting some work done, and I was like, fuck it, I want to get something while I wait. So I had him do the skull, which isn't horrible, but it could have been better. And then I had him do the one-up, and I'm super stoked about the one-up. I love that tattoo. And then I did my left hand as the earth. Did it as the earth, and it, I guess, could have stayed that way, but I saw this guy named Kirk Alley, and he did a dragon eye, or some type of a reptilian eye that just blew me away. And the earth looked okay, but I felt like maybe I could put an eye over my hand. And he did a great job. He did do it. And it looked good. For a day. That was the Kirk Alley before and after. If you could have an eye like that on your hand, wouldn't you? I had him do another eye on me, another eye cover up on me. It was already an eye, but he fucking rocked that shit. It's amazing, but it didn't stay like that. And I'm assuming it's just because that earth had been gone over at least 6 to 8 times before I even had Kurt touch it. So I'm thinking it's just clouded up with just too much color, too much ink, it's saturated. He did that sick ass eye over it, and now it just looks faded out. I'll show my hands again when this is all over. But that's the story behind that. There's more Kirk Alley work, but we'll get there. And then I really liked the earth a lot, but I came to the conclusion, well, I already have one on my neck, so I can forego it to get a sick ass eyeball like that. And for my right hand, I went ahead to Peter Guns, and he did, not him, somebody that was working there at the time, I think his name was Dave. He did my neck too, but I had him do my hand with a really basic, simple ass, medical symbol. And you could tell he put in cursive. It's really hard to read now, but type 1 diabetic and CCM survivor. I'll get to the story on the survivor part, but this was just supposed to basically be like, hey, I'm fucked up. I got this fucked up disease and all that shit. And I tried to make it kind of angry, whatever, with the skull in the middle, but it just wasn't angry enough for me. So I had gotten a tattoo on my right arm, a skull in Pomona at the Pomona Body Art Expo in like 2000 by an artist, and he just rocked it. I mean, I was like, wow, this is a fucking sick ass piece, but the dude is from Pennsylvania, so I was like, well, that's the end of that. But I found out, or at least got in touch with him again, and found out that he was going to be in the area for some reason in Southern California where I was living, and I went ahead and had him go over this hand to make it what I wanted it to be, which is just, I'm a fucking pissed off diabetic. I'm not a happy guy about this shit. Like, I'm angry. It makes me pissed off that, you know, nobody even fucking gives a fuck if you're diabetic anymore. Oh, it's manageable. Fuck you, it's manageable. Then you manage it. Fuck you. No, I'm pissed. So I had Shane redo my hand. And I just had him add a couple of skulls and horns to all the skulls, including the small one in the middle of the staff. And it just, to reflect my anger. I am fucking angry as shit. I'm pissed off about this fucking disease. Fucking life got the wrong motherfucker for this bullshit. So it conveys pretty much exactly what I wanted it to. And so I love that fucking hand unbelievably. I love it. It's perfect. It matches exactly what I'm trying to convey. And then I was out there with Shane. Oh yeah, the artist Shane Muntz, Red Rum Tattoo. I think Media, Pennsylvania. If you Google it, I'm sure it'll come up. The dude's the shit. Like, he did a lot of rework shit on me, but he also did a lot of original shit on me, which was one of my gems. It's on that same arm too, so I'll get to it in the next episode, hopefully. But Shane Muntz redid that, and he got across what I'm trying to get across. But he also did a real quick piece on my thumbs, another tattoo that I really, really, really like. It's not a gem because it blew out, as some do, because of the skin textures in different parts of your body. But I love Baphomets. It's like something I just really like the art behind it. I love it. I have them several places on my body, including 666 and all that other shit. I don't believe any of that shit. That's how fucking silly I think that shit is. It's fucking stupid. You could tattoo 666 all over your body. You'll be fine. You're okay. They're just digits, and that's just a goat. And I fucking love that tattoo, but it's blown out now because, well, that's just what happens with a lot of tattoos when you do certain parts of your body. But that's pretty much the stories behind my hands. I'll show again what they look like now, so you can see. Black and gray always stays better than color. It just does. You want your tattoos to look the same as they can for as long as they can, do black and gray. That's the answer. It just is. I mean, granted, you know, these aren't that old, but this one isn't that old either, and it looks fucking like nothing like it did in the picture. It's just not vibrant like it was. I mean, it only stays like that for maybe, you know, till it heals, essentially. But black and gray will look pretty good after it's healed and stayed that way for a while. But nobody fucking even knows I have this shit. Like, you have to, like, put your hands together, and people would have to notice it and pay attention, but nobody fucking gives a shit. But I love it. I mean, sure, I could have just gone with a black star, I suppose, but I really like Baphomet, so I got it, and I really like it. But that's it. My hands. Oh, right, the Broken Home. See, the fucking shits are so old, I forgot about them completely. It's abbreviated, but I got that probably when I was like fucking 18. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I had it done in a stigmata fashion by a guy named Scary from Scary Tattoo in, I think, Denver, Colorado. He was at the Pomona Body Art Expo as well. As you can tell by now, I lived in California for a while. And I moved. I'm in Colorado now, so that's part of the story. But yeah, Broken Home was probably one of my first tattoos. And then the ugly ass Thy Art Is Murder, I fucking love my one up. It's just my favorite, one of my favorites. So there you go, the stories. I'm fucking type 1 diabetic as fuck, and I'm angry as shit about it. And CCM I'll get to, because it's another huge fucking part of my life. And a huge reason, or influence behind a lot of my tattoos. Including the eye. It'll make sense when I get there. But for now, it's the hands, and that's what I got. The next tattoo stories will be part 2, I guess. Number 2, I don't know. And I'll do my right arm, which is all skulls. Almost all skulls. So with that, I hope it gave you enough time to stare at the fucking tattoos so you can actually see what they are. Because I want to see your tattoos. I want more of these. I want to be able to, oh look, it's Tattoo Stories 682. Whatever the fuck. Whoever the fuck. I just want to see what it is. Because we don't get this shit for no reason. And I don't care if nobody fucking watches this shit. I want to, hopefully it catches on and somebody else continues this. So that I have something to watch. You can only watch so much fucking Ink Masters, you know, it's fucking down now, the season's over, so it's like, fuck, I'd like to look at some tattoos, so I'm gonna stare at mine all day. I know what I have, but I want to see your shit, so let's start Tattoo Stories and make it something. I want to see people's shit, and the artists behind them, and the stories. I got better stories. The Thy Art Is Murder story is just a story. If you're a fucking metalhead, then it means something to you, because you'll know who Thy Art Is Murder is, but most of my tattoos are music oriented or related in some way to music, and I will explain all of that, and you'll be able to see that. But if you're not a metalhead, I don't know, maybe you don't give a shit, but metal kind of directed my interest in what kind of art I like. I like dark shit. I'm not like, I also like flowers and shit. You'll see, but fucking metal is huge for me, so it shows up in the type of art that I like. That's why I like horns on my skulls. It's like, well, it's fantastical. I understand that, and it's not real. It's a fantasy. For me, all this shit's a fantasy. Fucking Satan, all that bullshit. It's like, whatever. That's just, it's a fucking comic book. Stop. So I like it to be super dark when I'm in that part of what kind of art I like. So I spent so much fucking time trying to find artists that could do what it was, who saw it the same way. I can't afford to go see Paul Booth, you know, but you find other artists who are just as good, if not better, and don't cost $1 billion. So I still have more room. I'm addicted. I can't wait to fucking be finished, I guess. I don't know. But I did a lot. So I want to tell all the stories and show everything that's behind it. So if you like looking at tattoos, and like I do, then you should have some fun with this, because I got a shitload of stuff. Till next time.